Wanna go for a ride?
So, I have a few pet peeves I need to vent and get out there, you know what I'm saying? And especially when it comes to my generation, or really millennials as a general. Everything that I'm about to say, it's going to be offensive and I really don't care once again. But I don't know, things have changed. Things have changed a lot, and not for the better. Because I feel like there was a time where, you grew up, you just did what you were supposed to do, everybody figured it out, yeah, shit kind of sucked, whatever. And granted, there were things in between there, socially revolutionized, what have you. But nowadays, I just feel like we have this huge group of individuals who get on social media because they're bored and they don't really have anything better to do, and they've got 20 kids or however many. They're a homemaker or a stay-at-home housewife, whatever, which is fine. I don't care. My mom stayed at home with us for my mom was a single parent. My mother, there were times where we lived at my grandparents' house. I get it. I understand the struggle. I'm a woman, whatever. But the thing about it is today it's kind of trendy to be this what my friend Dan and I have coined a martyr mom, which are these people who are constantly on social media pages and these different pages oh, I don't vaccinate my child because he's gonna get Asperger's syndrome and blah. And so what ends up happening is that everyone basically gets polio and dies, or gets measles from some conquistador's blanket. And then, our population just is dead by that point, which really, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, isn't so bad because it would control the population. But that sounded horrible. I don't care. Whatever. It's the truth. I don't care. And, I don't understand. What did you do? What is so different about your child? Is your child some sort of weird, bizarre, mushroom person that is somehow sensitive to anything in today's world? You're just raising this thing to have all of these predisposed issues, these issues that were not there prior, because everyone's a special snowflake and everyone's child is hoo 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 hoo. I don't know one, your child is stupid. I don't like your children. I don't really like most kids. Kids are they're children. I didn't like children when I was one, and there was nothing I said or did that was profound as a child, enough for an adult to stop what they're doing and listen. No one cares. You're immature, your job is to be carefree, and really at the end of the day, they're the ones that get it the best. They're enjoying their life. They don't have to pay bills. They don't have to go. They're not adults yet. They have the option to be able to enjoy whatever it is that they want to do, with their parents basically doing everything for them. So I have no sympathy. Just because Braxton, Ryler, Tyler, Raiden, Braden, whatever made up name, white people have, for their kids nowadays, that's the status quo. That's what you have to do, is you have to have this Mason Pearson blah 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 blah. Your child, are you raising a thoroughbred? Are you trying to have a horse? Why? Why? I wish truly these bizarre middle class women who are reproducing nowadays would please stop making up names to name their kids, because it's getting really old. I don't understand what your child, what is, the spelling is weird. You're saying it's McKirsten or whatever. You're just combining two names together to sound like something else. I don't understand you. It doesn't sound good. You sound like you're raising an entire fraternity, and I just don't care. And nobody else does. Nobody else cares about the little abomination that you're raising. I was a hellion. I was a bad kid, and you think anybody cared? No, they didn't, and they shouldn't, because who cares? You know, unless you're going to be doing something profound, unless you're some sort of like savant child, I really don't want to hear you. Like, nothing you can say or do is entertaining to me. Nothing you can say or do is going to be important. You're little. Like, you have your time. You will have your time again. Like, I had that time where I was a kid and people, you know, you'd say, oh, yeah, listen to my day. I have a teddy bear. It's brown. Or, you know, the sky is blue. Or let me talk to you about fairies. You don't want to hear that. You do what any respectable adult does. You ignore them and then you move on, because that's how you raise a functioning adult. I feel like, you know, you have to have those disappointments. Like, if you're a kid and you haven't been ignored, then what is that teaching you? Like, you're entitled and you're probably an awful person, and I don't want you to vote or be a part of society in the future at all. You know? I just don't understand it. And that also segues into like my next rant, which is people who, once again, going on to martyr moms, these people who all of a sudden like this social injustice has been done because like women, and I know this is gonna strike a nerve, like the right to breastfeed in public. Look, okay, here's my stance on it. You know, whatever, do whatever you want to do, live however you want to live, but don't infringe or encroach on anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should not have to go into my job and have a discussion with a woman, you know, or a man. I mean, because really at the end of the day, if male genitalia produced milk, I still don't want to see it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care that it's natural. I just don't want to see your dick or your or your tits. Like, maybe they're gross. Like, maybe, you know, childbirth and things like that. I don't want kids. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, I think that breastfeeding is gross. I think it makes me physically ill to look at it or to watch it. I find that, like, really, it just disgusts me to see. And I don't care that it's natural. Even if I see an animal doing it, I don't want to. It's not something, like, to me, it's like, you're like raping my mind. Like, I feel like you're forcing this onto me. I mean, you know, and even though people jump on the bandwagon of, oh, it's natural, it's not, you know, it's not like you have an issue with the nipple and we need to free the nipple. I don't give a shit. Like, anybody, I don't know other people's stance on it truthfully, but to me, I feel like I don't want to see it because it's gross. Like, I don't want to see your child suckling on your breast. Like, maybe your boobs are gross. Maybe they disgust me. Maybe they make me ill. Maybe I don't want to look at them just as much as I would not want to, like, if a male was to give nutrient to a child through their genitals, I still wouldn't want to see their balls. Like, if balls produced, you know, if they lactated, I still would not want to be in a situation where, oh, you whip them out. I'm offended because I'm feeding and caring for my child. Like, like, millions and billions and trillions of people since the dawn of time. Like, you're not special. You know, just stop mind raping me. Like, stop putting these images into my head, and stop, like, I don't want to, nobody cares. Like, maybe it's just gross. Like, maybe nobody wants to see you like that. You know, maybe nobody wants to see your tits. Or maybe nobody, like, stop, you know? Do you have Munchausen? Like, stop it. I don't understand why. And it's like this inalienable right. Like, you can violate people willy-nilly because you've given birth, you know, but let me walk out with, like, my shirt off in public, and it would, you know what I'm saying? Like, a woman who has not reproduced, you know, pulls her shirt off, and then it's indecent exposure. Like, you can't, I just don't, it's not like censorship, it's just common courtesy. No one has any common courtesy or any, like, mutual respect for other people anymore. And I just find it hilarious because these are the people who are always so up in arms and have these like really staunch, serious convictions and thoughts and, oh, I believe this way, but they never even do the research. Like 9 times out of 10 when I've talked to somebody who's like anti-vaccination, they've done no research whatsoever into any of that to know that it's a hypothesis. It's a theory. It's not even, if you understood or even have any sort of like mild experience with science on a basic level, you would understand that a theory is not always necessarily like law. You know, this is not something that it has to be. And it's been proven already that there's not, you know what, it's one of those things where it's not even worth arguing because people don't even bother to do this or take the steps that is necessary to make an educated decision. And I feel like it all kind of comes back full circle to like this egocentric, like, I'm holier than thou, look at everything that I'm doing that's so much more important, and you're so lesser than because you're not doing all these things that people tell you should do because you're still partying, and you know, are a disgusting, depraved human being that still touches yourself and eats cookies and, you know, doesn't get on Pinterest. Like, I don't care. There's nothing that you're doing that's that profound. Nothing. And I mean, you know, like, read a book, get a hobby, you know, maybe do something like productive for the world, but you're not entitled to anything. Like, you're not, just do what you're supposed to do. Be kind to other people. Why is it so hard to just be courteous? Everyone is so, like, it comes back to this whole like self-absorption thing. And I feel like that's really what it comes down to, is like we as millennials are just so into how important we are, and this is what I'm doing and it's right, and no one else can be correct because what I'm doing is the right thing. And even though my parents didn't, you know, get to the point where they're screaming or yelling at people over whether or not to like breastfeed their kids, I mean, it's just insane. It's insane. I don't understand. Like, and I can say, as someone in my job, I've had someone walk in and start like breastfeeding randomly and mind you, this was not a baby, this was a toddler, like walking around with teeth. That's very violating and disturbing to me. Like, that caused me a lot of issues that day, and it was really, really detrimental to me to have to see these like tube sock, shriveled up, veiny, nasty, eggs on a nail breasts with this like top. I mean, it's violating. It's not just like you don't want things that you don't like or maybe bother you shoved down your throat. Maybe there's people out there that want the same. And could you just give us a little respect? Because we just don't want to see your breasts. It's just that simple. It's really not it really takes 5 seconds to cover yourself up or go in the bathroom if it's that hard. There are things that you can do. And if you have the time to be on these social websites or being on any sort of social media and type out these paragraph long, droning, with no basis or background or any sort of research or thought process whatsoever. It's just a regurgitation of something someone else has told you at some sort of knitting club or whatever. You know, you're just regurgitating information. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. So don't do that, because it's annoying. Yeah? All right, good.